Hello everyone, welcome to Fiaura. So today we're looking at the Merkvav Mark II. Merkvav Mark II, Merkvav, however you want to pronounce it. Don't mean to offend anybody, it's just really hard to pronounce. And the reason we're looking at it is to show something that is probably not intentional. And that is because according to its readout here, there's 0 rear turret armor. Wait, what? There is apparently, supposedly, 0 armor here. Let's go take a look and test this 0 armor theory. Alright, so we're back here. And as you can see, I have an M41 Walker Bulldog and a T92, and they're loaded with high explosive rounds. They are loaded with HE. Both of them, as a matter of fact, are firing nothing but high explosive right now. Those were full damage pens. Wait a minute. What? That's a high explosive from Tier 2 light tanks. The weakest high explosive shells in the game from a main cannon. That was a high explosive shell to the side. And that was a high explosive 183. And my turret was broken by it. And there's one more that you're going to find interesting. And that's this next one. From the Walker Bulldog. As soon as he gets it lined up. Ready? Critical hit. Set me on fire, jammed the turret, destroyed the engine from this engine exhaust right here. I'm not sure you wanted to put that kind of critical hit spot, weak spot on the front of the tank, Obsidian, because that's still the front forward side armor. But enough of this. We've now tested it with the weakest HE cannons. What about some stronger guns? Let's have a look at it with some stronger guns. Just to see if this holds true for tanks. Hello, we're back. And for this purpose, I told the Ramka to mark my tank in order to ensure that we eliminated as much RNG as possible. So I'm designated. And those are penetrating. And they are penetrating. And yeah. Alright, let's try it. And the T90 penetrated with high explosive. These are high explosive shells. These are not armor piercing. High explosive missile damage to the back of the turret. It made a hole. High explosive T90 shell to the back of the hull. You're kidding. Right? Those are high explosive shells. High explosive 845 damage. Not a critical hit, not an ammo rack. From a Ramka missile. We got one more test. Just to show you guys how weak the rear... As you all can see, welcome back. We have an LAV 150 firing into the engine deck. This gets worse. Those are high explosive incendiary shells. That's the rear turret, that's the rear hull. However, we brought a big gun. The highest caliber weapon of high explosive that the Merkvav will have to fight. And we lined it up perfectly with the back of the turret, waited for it to aim on in, just to make sure of what we are about to see. And you know, you're all waiting and anticipating for it. Come on. Come on. That was a hit into the cage armor area on the back of the turret for 400. Back of the hull now. And he had to actually realign his paladin for this one. If a shell lands in the back hull area, let's see what happens, shall we? I mean, full penetration. High explosive shot. No critical hit, but full pen. And now we're going to do one more test. Engine deck. I'm slowing it down so you guys can verify. It did hit the engine area. 800 damage. Critical hit. This means that if artillery shell lands on your right side and it happens to damage this, it's going to full damage you every time. If it lands anywhere near this rear area, it is going to full damage you every time. What the hell, Obsidian? That is a forward compartment. That is a critical hit zone. And the rear of the tank is so thinly armored that you receive full damage from an LAV-150's high explosive incendiary round. Or even worse, you receive full damage from a Ramka's thermobaric high explosive missile. Ladies and gentlemen, the fuck? How am I supposed to trust this tank now? Knowing full well that anything that fires HE can get behind me and do massive damage. No other main battle tank is like that. Even the T-80 and the Type 92 have just enough rear armor to prevent that. This thing actually has 0 rear armor. 0. And on the side here, this is a 0 armor point. This whole section of the tank below this main plate skirt is a 0 armor point. On the forward section of the tank. Something is deeply wrong with this vehicle and it needs to be addressed. And it's really about the armor schematic that needs some real readdressing. Because its side armor is only 55 mil. And this side section is 0. This area is 0. This is effective 0. I don't know what you're going to do about it, Obsidian. But yeah, that's why I haven't reviewed this vehicle yet. Because there's something deeply wrong with the armor schematic and it needs to be addressed. And I hope this has pointed it out to you guys, because I tried to point this out to you during testing and you didn't listen. So, that's going to be it for the Armored Warfare video for today, guys. Tomorrow will likely be some more of the tanks. I know Obsidian's probably going to be pissed. But leave your thoughts and your feedback. Let me know what you thought of this test. And if the test was appropriate or not. And I hate to discourage sales, but until something is addressed about this, I would not touch this vehicle. You were going to get massacred by artillery and high explosive flinging AFVs all day long. And that's the honest truth. I hope this has shed some light on something that was pointed out during testing of this vehicle, and it still was not fixed. Hopefully, just like the Swingfire video I did during early access to show there was something deeply wrong with the missiles, this video will have the impact it needs to have to get Obsidian to sit down and fix what is obviously a big problem. In the meantime, from my house to yours, this is Fiaura signing out for right now, and I will see all of you in the next video.